What is going on, everybody? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Live DraftKings breakdown here on the Fantasy Alarm and Better Sports Network. James, my man, we have a monster Tuesday slate here. We're looking at 10 games on the board. Currently watching here, recording on Monday evening. Following along with this Monday slate here, it's been a pretty eventful Monday. We've seen Andrew Heaney record 10 outs, strike out 10 batters. Pretty strong start. For him, we saw the Rangers lineup that you were pretty high on come through. We're watching the Cardinals and Rockies put some runs on the board, and we're about to see the Angels tee off, hopefully, on Patrick Corbin. Bryce Elder had himself a strong start. He's one of our top value plays for Monday. So overall, I got to think we've had a pretty successful Monday breakdown. Let's hope we can carry that on over into Tuesday.
Yeah, and we're turning rotations over again, John. Like, we had some aces. We talked about the Scherzers, the Castillos, the Darvishes of the world. Now we have Jacob deGrom, Shohei Ohtani, the return of Kyle Wright, who was a darling for the Braves last year. Dustin May has looked fantastic to start the year. So some big-time names at the top of the pitcher's position. Some prices that stand out like gosh dang sore thumbs. I mean, I could look just three of them off the bat, right? Like, I don't even know if we're going to be spending up. Obviously, we have Jacob deGrom, so probably will. But, like, there's some clear mispricing still going on here. But yeah, I mean, definitely a good breakdown on Monday. I hope everyone enjoyed the podcast. I hope everyone enjoyed the live stream that John and I were on. And if anyone has any questions, you can find us in the Better Sports app. You can download that, get into the live stream at 5, ask all your lineup questions you have.
Follow us on Twitter.
You can
hit us there.
Follow us on Twitter.
Or if you're not yet a subscriber to the Fantasy Alarm family here, our All-Pro Access package right now, promo code MLB50 saves you 50% off for the first 6 months. Comes out to about $20 a month for the first 6 months. You get access to all of our content on site, DFS, seasonal betting, you name it. We cover it for just $20 a month. Takes you right through the first month of the NFL season. Hard to beat that. You get access to our premium Discord where James and I are in there answering your lineup questions. So watch the podcast, follow us on Twitter, ask us questions, help you build your lineups, and then tune back in at 5 o'clock for the live stream that we do and getting everybody ready right ahead of roster lock. So no shortage of coverage here at Fantasy Alarm for your MLB DFS needs.
Yeah, not at all. And YouTube as well. I mean, we're on every platform, Twitch. There's no shortage of platforms that we are going live on, John. Big 10 game slate. And how we start the podcast is usually just dissecting the initial look at Las Vegas. So we'll take John's private jet over to Vegas. We all know John
We'll be there soon, my friend. We'll be there soon.
We'll take a look at Vegas for the 10 game slate. So off the rip, a few notable spreads, a few noticeable lines here. Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Angels minus 290 in some places, minus 303, minus 330 on FanDuel Sportsbook. That is the biggest number on the board. Alek Manoah and the Toronto Blue Jays hosting the Detroit Tigers. He's upwards of 290 as well on the money line. Jacob deGrom, anywhere from 260 to 275. Those are the three biggest favorites we have on the board, and all warranted right. Favorites and names. It's interesting. Kyle Wright's expected to make his debut. That has not been confirmed, at least by the Vegas sportsbook. I mean, again, DraftKings has him listed, and the expectation is that he does make his debut.
Probably some limitations to him, you would think, in his start.
For sure. Yeah, I would assume so. And then we got a word. Dre Jameson will start for the Diamondbacks. I don't know if they have that listed on.
That's for Wednesday. That's for Wednesday, though.
That's for Wednesday. Oh, okay. Listen, my days are all backwards. Okay,
hey, I'm with you there. Again, it's been a lot of work. Baseball season's come and it's come quick.
Yep.
And we're talking 10 games here for Tuesday, but Wednesday we got that split slate. We got all those early games. So Jameson's going to be there. I believe Tuesday. Actually, they're not even on the slate anyway, so it doesn't matter. I was going to say, I think Garrett Whitlock was making a start for the Red Sox off the IL, but he's on the 6 o'clock slate, which is not being covered by DraftKings here either. So a couple of pitchers that we just mentioned, not even on the slate, James. Shows how well we're doing right now.
Oh, high five, John. High
Yeah.
five. We're on a
Let's just
roll.
talk about pitchers that
Also,
are on the slate. How about that? Does that sound good?
we do have cores.
Yeah,
Wait. We got also have just hold on. Let's see if there's any run
sure.
totals worth mentioning. Cores 11. Everything else sits at like 8.5, 9. Seattle, Chicago is at 9.
Okay.
Atlanta, Cincinnati at 9. Those are the only 2 games. Only 3 games at 9 or above. 11.5. FanDuel has Colorado and St. Louis, Miles Mikolas and Kyle Freeland at 12. So,
Yeah.
FanDuel is expecting a lot of runs.
Oh, yeah. We figured that happens down there in cores. Starting pitching. We'll kick it off here. We joked about Jacob deGrom in his first start getting lit up by Philly. Then he goes up against Baltimore, 6 innings, 2 runs, 1 earned, 11 strikeouts. Looked very vintagey Jacob deGrom.
Yep.
And now he's got the Kansas City Royals, who, as we mentioned, Andrew Heaney started tonight, 10 outs, 10 strikeouts. So
Yep.
you would think that maybe Jacob deGrom can have some success against his Royals lineup.
Yeah, I mean, look, DeGrom and Ohtani are both going to be 11K before we know it, right? There's neither of these guys should be under 10K. Both of them are in elite spots. Ohtani's looked dominant on the mound. Jacob deGrom looked like Jacob deGrom in his second start. You know, I think this could be a slate that double barrel spend up a pitcher is an approach that a lot of people take. But then you look at like the mid tier, and there's a lot of guys there too. So
Yeah.
I don't know, like hard pressed not to play both DeGrom and
I would agree.
Ohtani. I think because I think you could flip a coin and they could both get you 40 fantasy points. Let's be honest. Like they could both get you 40 tomorrow. But man, the mid tier is also
Yeah.
very
I mean,
strong.
listen, Corbin Burns being $8,500 again. I understand for Burns here, not a great start to his season. Chicago and the Mets, the two teams, 10 earned runs, 9 1/3 innings pitched in those 2 games, only 6 strikeouts. Not the Cy Young Award winner of a few years ago. I get that, but 8,500 still feels a little too cheap for what is ultimately
Yes.
going to probably be Corbin Burns priced in the upper 9Ks for the majority of this year. And if you can get him at the right point, get him at the right discount, there's a lot of potential here at $8,500. But Alek Manoah just sticks out like the sore thumb you were
Yep.
mentioning before.
Yep.
At home against Detroit, last start against Kansas City, 7 innings, 1 run, 5 strikeouts in that outing here. Detroit, not a good offense, just got swept by Boston. That to me, I agree. You can double spend up, but Manoah at 77, Lopez here, Pablo
Yep. There
Lopez
it is.
at 73. I
Yep.
mean, again, I understand that he hasn't faced great lineups, but he's also a really good pitcher. So,
Yep.
double spend up, sure. Spend up and then Manoah or Lopez, sure. Manoah and Lopez plus cores,
I know.
can certainly do the double mid tier and get all the high price bats. For me, I think that's probably where I'm going to find myself going here.
Yeah, it's really, really. Those were the 2 guys that I mean 3. Corbin Burns was also priced too cheap, but like
And nobody's going to play
Manoa and
Burns
Pablo.
because they're just pivot down to the other 2. So,
Yep, exactly. And I think that's the clear cut. Like, all right, well, you play Degrom or Otani, and then you're playing one of the other 2, and like in tournaments, you're probably just playing the lower owned of the 2. In cash games, you're just going to play the higher owned of the 2. Detroit is 29th in offense this year against right-handed pitching. Alek Manoah is right-handed pitching. They lost Austin Meadows to anxiety, placed on the IL for anxiety. So he's their best left-handed bat, arguably, is no longer there. Then Pablo Lopez gets the White Sox, who in theory should be a better offense. Tim Anderson left tonight's game
yeah, well, you left
Monday's
say like a
game
bruised knee or something, right?
with a knee injury. So they're now Moncada's been hurt with back soreness. Tim Anderson could be out Monday. They already lost Eli Jimenez, so now
Just don't let Luis Robert hurt you, and you're
just don't let Luis Robert hurt you, and you should be in a good spot. So like there is a lot to love, not even like love about Pablo Lopez, who was already a darling of mine coming into the year for seasonal. And he has been every bit the part that we wanted him to be in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And there's just no way Alek Manoah is 77. It just doesn't make us. By May 1st, Alek Manoah is over 9K every
He
slate.
deserves to be in that range, right? Like on this slate, given the start he just had, he should be, higher than Alex Wood.
Doesn't the algorithm can tell you that 5 days ago he pitched, and then 5 days later, it's going to tell you that he's going to face the Detroit
Yeah, I
Tigers that
am. Yeah,
are.
I don't know. It is a very
I'm,
weird. Thank you. I guess is what
I
we should is
thank you.
really how we
Yeah,
should be approaching this.
that's
But
thank you, DraftKings. Thank you, DraftKings.
yeah, the rostership here on these starting pitchers is going to be pretty crazy. I don't think you need to go much else here. We gave you 2 mid-tier guys, 2 top-tier guys. There's nobody down. I mean, are you pitching Josiah Gray after his Coors Field outing? I mean, like, for,
It's night and day. It's night and day. Tournaments. He'll forever just be, if you want to play him in tournament, like good luck.
right? I mean, if he doesn't give up a home run, he's fairly good, I guess, right? Because
Yeah, they strikeout
well,
upside.
that's what it is. If he's not giving up home runs, he's striking you out, and when you make contact, you're hitting a home run. So I just watched Patrick Corbin strike out Ohtani on 3 pitches, so maybe Josiah Gray can do the same. Anything is possible apparently these days. So, but that's it. I don't have interest on any other pitch. It's 10 games. There's 20 pitchers. I like 4 of them, and like I'm pretty much going there.
I'll throw a few names out
Yeah,
there, just as potentials. I don't love 9,200 for Dustin May, but he's been awesome to start the year. 1 earned run in 13 innings. The pitch count is obviously a concern if he gets in any type of trouble. Like, are we just getting 5 innings out of
yeah,
Dustin May? Because he threw 84 pitches, and we were like, wow, that was pretty good to see his debut. He's probably going to throw nine. No, Dave
yeah. Dave
Roberts,
Roberts.
right?
Yeah,
Dave Roberts. So Dustin May, I don't hate, just considering the how much the Giants have struck out to start the
yeah.
year. Um, and I was gonna say, I said a couple that I lied. It was just
Just
Dustin
yeah,
May.
yeah.
that
That,
was the only other name that I had.
that's fine. Dustin May here at $9,200. Let's go on over to the catcher position. Again, a position that we often discuss. We don't generally find ourselves spending up, but maybe there's an opportunity to do so. You get WD Smith here against a lefty and Alex Wood. He's $5,900. Pretty expensive. He's the only one I would consider at this tier. We're not going to play Salvi against DeGrom, Melendez against DeGrom, Stevenson against Wright, maybe, but probably a little bit out of my price range here.
Yeah.
You get Wilson Contreras, who's the chalk catcher tonight. He's $4,200 against Kyle Freeland. We did the Kyle and Freeland experience at home last time out. We expected him to get rocked. Wasn't the case. He pitched really well. Unlikely to see that happen again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Probably,
until
right?
you just. That's what I mean. Like you said,
The
word for
The
word,
Cardinals are
like
better than Washington, so
that is definitely probably true. Yep.
not throwing to Dom
I would.
Smith, he's throwing to Paul Goldschmidt, so
Yeah. Yes. That is. Yeah, I think he's $100 cheaper than he was on Monday slate. Hasn't been great. There's just been like he has 6 singles and a double. That's what Wilson Contreras has this year. So, but I think this is a power spot for him. He hits lefties well and is in course. So, I actually think the Contreras brothers are probably both in play here because Merrill Kelly is what Merrill Kelly is.
he was good last year.
He was good last year, and then he's has 8 walks and 2 starts, and kind of got shelled by the Dodgers last time out. And I'm not saying Milwaukee's the Dodgers, but Milwaukee's does support a pretty good
Yep,
lineup. So
I agree. I agree with you.
I don't hate the other Contreras
Okay.
either.
Sean Murphy, again, having to start with Darno out of the lineup. Murphy did have a pretty good game today. Gets Sessa here at $3,800. Any interest?
So weird to see Luis Cessa
Not in a Yankee
as a
uniform?
starter, as a starter, because he pitched like he was not a starter with the Yankees. Yeah, I'm definitely interested. Atlanta is a good hitting environment, and I don't know how to feel about Luis Cessa being stretched out. Like he didn't look good last year as an opener, and like being stretched out a little bit. Not confident that he's going to look good here. So yeah, I'm definitely in on Cessa here,
Uh,
or Murphy
Yep.
rather.
We mentioned Cal Rowley's powers against right-handed pitching. He gets Wisniewski here. $3,700. Some power pop potential in that spot. Probably it for me. They can't really talk about Gabriel Moreno this time around because he's got Corbin Burns. Any other catchers for you? Jonah Heim? Do we go back to the Jonah Heim well if they're right there?
He's going to start, right? I mean, that's what
Yep.
we know. We know he's going to
Homer
start,
tonight.
and like we always talk about with Jordan Lyles, like kind of like how we talked about with Andrew Heaney on Monday's stream and pod, is that he gives up a lot of home runs. He gave up 2 in his last start against Toronto. He's primarily a fly ball pitcher. Yeah, Jonah Heim could definitely take him yard, much like here we go with Texas again, John.
Yeah, I saw. They have 7 runs on the board.
It's gonna be
Our guy Renjifa just had a 2 RBI single as well. So,
heck yeah.
floodgates starting early as we expected against Corbin here tonight.
But Texas is gonna be firmly in play again on Tuesday. I mean, because all the power that
Do you think we see
Jordan Lyles
Alvarez in the
allows.
lineup for against a lefty here?
I think he didn't start the other day against lefty, but if he's in the lineup, I definitely
$2,400
have.
against Weather.
Yeah, I definitely have interest if he's in the
Yeah,
lineup. I
I think
definitely have
that way.
interest.
I know they've been starting Nito, right? So, but Alvarez, if he DHs or something against the lefty, that's something to potentially
Definitely have
cue
interest.
in on for sure. All right, first base position as we move on over here. Pete Alonso is your top priced first baseman. He gets the lefty matchup against Weathers at 6,100. Freddie Freeman against Alex Wood at 59. CJ Cron gets Mikolas at 58. Vladdy Guerrero against Manning at 57. Paul Goldschmidt against Freeland, the lefty, at 56. Olsen Versessa at 54. Meneses. Why he's 5K against Ohtani, I won't understand. DraftKings just who knows, right? Letting dartboards decide pricing there. He's at 5K. So that's your 5K and above tier. We can just ignore him in ECs here. He's probably the only one I wouldn't even consider. It feels like it's got to be Goldie at 56.
Yeah, it's Goldie at 56. Gets lefty. We know how like historically good he was in his MVP season last year against lefties, and I think it's probably Olsen second against Luis Cessa at home. Righty lefty split in Olsen's favor. I'm not going to ignore Alonso. He's off to an awesome start in the power department. 5 home runs already. This guy is nuts. So I would probably rank it Goldschmidt, Olsen, Alonso. But yeah, you can pretty much get to everyone over 5K with the excluding Joey Meneses.
Yep, I'm definitely in agreement with you there. Mid-tier range here. Nelly Cruz will be in the lineup against the lefties, $4,600. We talked about Nathaniel Lowe. You like Texas? He's 45 right there in the middle. Maybe that could be it for me there in that mid-tier range.
It's probably Nate Lowe for me. Nathaniel, sorry, Nathaniel. And if you think
discounting the 6 hits in 2 games for Nelly Cruz, eh?
No, I'm not. I picked him up in FSGA after Adam Duvall went down because I needed a bat. Very interesting to see Nelly Cruz just with first base eligibility.
Yeah.
Like that's
And
whatever.
he plays DH for them too. He's not even like
yeah, he's just I mean, of course he can't move.
Right.
Like
he can still swing though. So
he can still swing. He also the eye surgery, John. He's
yes.
I think he's just gonna get popped with roids again instead of the eye surgery. But yeah, I agree. Like you could play maybe Christian Walker if you think Corbin Burns continues to stink. You can play Rowdy Tellez 34. when we start getting into this like value tier.
Yep.
I don't dislike Rowdy for a cheap home run or
Yeah, I don't mind it.
3,400.
What is Vogelbach's a lefty, right? Yeah, he's a lefty. Carpenter gets a lefty. I guess we could see Yepez in the lineup at 3K.
Yeah, I don't hate that. It's not bad.
Not much else down here.
No. Brad Miller, first base eligible. Maybe some home run pop against Jordan
Eric
Lyles.
Hosmer's been playing a bit. He's 2,500. Let's. I mean, you wouldn't play Darren Ruff, right? I guess he's on a minor league contract, so he's not even.
No, he's not
on the team. Okay. Yeah, that's probably it then.
I'm gonna cry, John.
What did Texas just do? Did Seager just hit a grand slam?
Adolis Garcia just hit a grand slam to make it 11-1. I am so sad, and everyone knows I talked about Texas from start to finish. Guess who didn't play Texas
all day? Like we said, Texas was in your heart. It was. I
didn't play Texas.
It was right there. Seattle's got two guys on in the top of the 10th. Maybe they
yeah. Let's. Anyways, second base.
Second base position. At the top of the position, still Mookie Betts gets a lefty. Has Mookie even registered starts at second this year? Like, what's?
Let's look
go
up
to ESPN. Let's check out the position eligibility. How many games has Mookie actually seen at second base this year? Eligibility 4. He's actually seen four appearances.
You know what? He probably played when Vargas missed time.
Yeah. 8 games in right field, 4 games at second base. All right. It's going to be a cheat code when Mookie Betts gets second base eligibility in seasonal leagues.
Yep. And he homered to lead off the game tonight.
Yep.
Too.
Yep. So Mookie Betts is $6,200 there. That's fine if you want to go in that spot. Let's see. McMahon at 48 against second base eligibility against Miko last year in Coors. Probably a pretty good spot. That's like kind of it in that range for me. I mean, Colton Wong is 4,100. That's not terrible.
Yeah, I think both second basemen in this game are okay. Nico Horner. This game has a 9 implied run total. I'd like to see the weather for tomorrow, see if there's wind blowing out in Chicago. But Horner stole his 4th base tonight or on Monday. Yeah. So that's his 4th. That's his 3rd stolen base in the last 4 games.
I mean, that's his calling card to get on and run. So
got a righty on the mound and flexing, so easy to run. And I do like Colton Wong. Wisniewski, not like a proven commodity. Did have a good small sample size, did have a good ground ball rate, 47% ground ball rate last year. He was just kind of good across the board, but very small sample. Don't really have the jury is clearly still out on him.
Yep, I agree with you. We haven't talked a lot of Minnesota yet. Nick Gordon's 3K. Lance Lynn again got absolutely destroyed in his last start there. Gordon not off to a good start himself.
No.
He is a lefty though, so you get that little lefty matchup there for.
The problem has been anytime Nick Gordon is just getting pulled for Farmer every time a lefty comes in. So then Kyle Farmer, who does nothing but hit lefties, comes in the game and pitch hits for him. So
you worried a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. Miguel Vargas is $2,900. I talked to you the other day. I like Kim whenever lefty's on the mound. And he's been pretty good, $2,700.
Yeah, of course. I played him in another just day away. San Diego played him. I stacked San Diego in that 4-1 Atlanta game, and then just one day away, John. One day. That's how this baseball season has started for me. But yeah, I mean, he is good. He is good against lefties, and he's fast, and he still hasn't stolen a base. So that is still in the cards as well.
Yep, I'm in agreement with you. Any other second baseman for you?
Not that I think we need
Third base position then, as we move our way up. Macho Man at $5,800 against the lefty and Peterson. Sessa versus Riley, 57. Arenado, though, against Freeland at 52. Feels like the pretty much chalk play in
Yep.
that grouping.
Yes. Machado, more than fine. Austin Riley, more than fine. Not going to probably play Muncy in the lefty. He's been bad again to start the year. But Arenado's the chalk.
Yep.
So you could definitely pivot to Machado. You could definitely pivot to Riley. No problems going to either of those guys, but Arenado is the clear cut play.
Yeah, I mean, you're just looking at Arenado's splits kind of over the years against against left-handed pitching, and really it's this Cardinals team just in general last year. We were absolutely just banging them every single time a lefty was on the mound. Arenado had 939 OPS last season against left-handed pitching, and Freeland's in this spot now, 5,200. And like we said, there's just so much. The mid-tier pitching is going to allow you to get to these guys here in this matchup.
Yep.
The one spend up, one spend down on DraftKings, the way they have guys priced, it's just going to make it easier to fit these guys in the lineups. And tonight you're looking at, Arenado, Goldschmidt, that grouping, they're 25, 26, 27% rostered. So you got to expect more of the same here, I think, on this slate. So anybody in the mid tier for you?
Eduardo Escobar hits lefties fairly well, has for quite a while. So I'd be okay getting there. It's been a slow start for him for sure, but 4,100, not terrible. We'll have to see if Rendon is in the lineup.
Yeah, scratched today, you said, right?
Scratched on Monday due to left shoulder soreness. So anytime we start talking about Anthony Rendon injuries is like the worst possible case because this guy has done nothing but just been injured for the last few years.
Right. And then
I think
he swiped to that fan. I wonder if he hurt his shoulder,
Yeah, true. I think the next spot I would probably go to is Josh Jung. And we just know Jung is the power bat, and Jordan Lyles is a guy who just gives up home runs. 3,500 for Josh Jung, 2 bombs on the year, 3 extra base hits. Like, he'll be back in the lineup after getting Monday off.
If Chris Taylor's in the lineup for the Dodgers, he actually has been pretty decent BVP against Alex Wood. He's 4 for 15, 2 doubles, 2 home runs. So maybe something to peak there. Mookie Betts, by the way, 9 for 18 with 3 home runs off Alex Wood. So hitting 500 with 3 homers there off of Alex Wood. So a little, not that we're full on BVP truthers here, but definitely some numbers to help you make some decisions if you're in between players.
Sure.
Value tier at the third base. Anybody stand out to you? Kind of scrolling myself down the list and nobody's popping for me necessarily.
I mean, after Jung, Yuli Harris, Montero, he'll hit in the middle of that lineup for the Rockies. Was hitting 313 coming into Monday's game. Let's see. Thus far, he's 2 for 3. He's up to 343 on the year. Another 2-hit game for him. A double and a single, RBI and a run scored. Like, it's pretty good in the middle of that lineup. And of course, field 3,100. That's clear. If you are going the double spend up route, I don't hate Montero as a value play. I don't see anything else though, John.
Again, this slate is seemingly pretty straightforward, at least so far. We kind of, I think your biggest decision to this point is going to be at pitcher and how you approach it. Obviously, we're going to build a lineup here at the end of the show. We'll see what we kind of we come up with. At the shortstop position, Tim Anderson, as we mentioned, left today's game. We'll see if he's active. Not that we're looking to go there, but 5,600, a little surprising to see him priced that high up just in general. Bo Bichette against Manning.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't talked a lot of Toronto today. Not sure your thoughts on the Blue Jays bats here. Obviously expensive, but they get Matt Manning here at $5,600. Lindor versus lefty and Weathers at $54. Xander against the lefty and Peterson at $5,300. And then Corey Seager got off the schneid tonight with the bomb. He's $5K against Jordan Lyles.
Yeah, I'm going right back to Seager. Everything suggested that there was positive regression coming, and that came in a big way for Texas. And Jordan Lyles is, I've said it throughout the whole podcast. He's a guy that just gets fly balls and he allows home runs because of that. And when he was away from Baltimore last year, he allowed a ton of home runs, and he doesn't have Baltimore's
Right.
part to save him anymore. So Seager's my favorite over 5K. I'm definitely okay getting Lindor. He has a long history of hitting right-handed or left-handed pitching well. Um, Dansby is interesting because he's been so good, but like no power. How can you really spend 5,500 when like dual threat of Bichette and dual threat
Yeah.
of Lindor and Xander Bogaerts is
Right.
hitting
What do you
everything in
think
sight.
the Padres lineup is going to look like? Because they said that Tatis is going to be their leadoff hitter when he returns.
I
Everybody just shift down
assume,
one, you think?
yeah, like Machado hits third or Soto hits third, Machado hits
Xander just moves to
fourth.
the 2 hole.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
I thought that was just an interesting comment that time to make that lineup even crazier
Immediately
is that
just
Tatis moves to the
yeah.
leadoff spot.
Yeah, I think that would be the most logical spot. I mean, you could hit Xander like fourth if you really wanted to and just keep Machado or keep Soto
Mhm.
Machado where they are. But I think Xander being as good as he's been and like getting on base as much as he is, I mean, just sets the table so much
Yeah.
for Machado and Soto. They might drive in 150 runs. Those two,
I
like if they
Yeah,
were to play the
that
full year.
offense is going to be pretty gross. Mid-tier range here, again, kind of pricing drops off pretty quickly. We go 4,900 Bobby Witt. We're not going to play him against the ground, but then down right to 42. Urshela, Baez, Newman, nobody I'm looking to play there. Tommy Edman could lead off against Kyle Freeland at 3,900. I think that could be an interesting spot. We'll see. We know we like Rengifo rather against lefties and righties, but he's 37. We mentioned Chris Taylor at the BVP against Wood at 38. Anybody else here for you?
Nothing in the mid tier. I'd say we mentioned Geraldo Perdomo, and we mentioned on Monday, like could if he's in the lineup, there's interest. He'll probably play over Nick Ahmed on
Right.
Tuesday. Corbin Burns has been bad, so 4 extra base hits in 7 games, has a stolen base, hitting 438. Like that's notable stuff. So, if he's in the lineup, it's something I would explore. Same with Josh Smith if
Yeah,
he's in the lineup for
2,200
Texas
bucks for
again.
sure.
Just going right back to Texas. I know I'm a day late.
You weren't even a day late. You were dead on, and
I was dead on. Just
11 runs
like
scored tonight.
what I'm saying is because I ended up not going to Texas in my lineup on Monday, Tuesday, my lineups are going to have
And Jordan
Texas, and
Lyles
it's
is
going
going
to
to
be
throw a
three
perfect game.
two. 3-2 game that Jordan Lyles wins 7 innings. So but undeniably good spot because Jordan Lyles can't pitch away from Baltimore,
Yep.
power galore. So
Yep.
back on the Texas train.
I get that. All right, we have a lot. We got a lot of outfielders to talk about here, James. So let's go through it here and kind of break it down. It's not so much like the guys we know we want. As I mentioned, Mookie Betts has that ridiculous BVP here against Alex Wood. Josiah Gray, Mr. Home Run against Mike Trout. We know probably good for one, you would think, at least in this spot here.
Good for one. For one, that's
Ronald
hysterical.
Acuna gets Sessa at 63. Soto gets the lefty here at 6K. Rank those 4 outfielders for me.
So I do agree. Josiah Gray definitely good for at least one. What I'm thinking is if Trout, I wonder if their ownership would be depressed at all if they don't go off
Okay.
tonight or if they don't go off on Monday. So I love Acuna. I love the Acuna spot. I do not think highly of
Okay.
Luis Sessa as a starter. If I'm ranking them, I'm probably ranking them how they are priced. But I can see a case for Ronald Acuna
Okay.
being one because he is such a freak of nature like if he's on,
Your
he's stealing votes.
rostership depression, Mike Trout just struck out. So Patrick Corbin has struck out Ohtani and Trout tonight, but the Angels are still up 2-1. So
I like just because like I imagine a world where people understand Josiah Gray gives up a
he
lot of
led the
home
league in
runs
home runs
and that
allowed
Mike
last year.
Trout.
So
We just I sometimes so last year there was a lot of talk about like why can't we use Ohtani the hitter when
yeah,
he's pitching, right? It's like it was harder to use angel stacks because of that, because it was like a shortened, like you're just using a shortened
yeah,
version of the Angels lineup. So could that be the case here with Trout, right? Like, and just the Angels in general. Like, we don't want to play the Angel stacks, and this not us, but like people going into their
right,
lineup construction saying like, do we want to play Angel stacks that aren't going to include their two hitter, a guy who might hit 2 home runs tomorrow, or their
right.
three hitter rather, who might hit 2 home runs. So we're not going to play Trout, or we're not going to play Taylor Ward, or we're not going to play the rest of our lineup because we're excluding one guy.
No,
Just a
for
thought like that. That was a large
was
talking point last year. Like, why can't we use like? Yes, I want to use Ohtani the pitcher, but if I have the option of using Jacob DeGrom on the mound, and then I also could use
yeah.
Ohtani hitter, right? Like that could be something instead. So maybe Trout's ownership is depressed a little bit because of that. And Angel Stack just isn't as popular as maybe it would be if you could use Ohtani. So I don't also hate using Acuna as the number one option, like ranking Acuna one. Um, I will rank them Trout, Acuna, Betts,
Okay.
and Soto. But I also see the case
All
for
right,
Acuna
we'll go
one.
down into that next tier here. We'll comments, the 5,500 and up. Byron Buxton against Lance Lynn. We didn't really talk a lot about what happened to Lance Lynn in his most recent start, but he got lit up against San Francisco. 4 1/3 innings, 9 hits, 8 earned, 3 home runs allowed in that game.
Yep.
We got Minnesota here. Buxton is a guy that he's a fantasy dynamo, right? There's tremendous upside. He's wildly
Yes.
talented. He's always hurt, but it's in DFS. The plus side is you get to play him when he's healthy. You don't have to worry about it
Right.
when he's injured in seasonal fantasy. So where does Byron Buxton at 5,800? Rodriguez at 57. Lewis Roberts 55. Where do all these guys fill in for you in the 5K range now?
I mean, Seattle is going to be unowned because they let everyone down on Monday. It is a good spot. There's a good game total. 9 runs was the second highest over under on the board. Buxton is a GPP darling, as you mentioned. Lance Lynn, the numbers suggest this is who he is. Now, do I expect a 6.3 walk per 9? No, that is ludicrous. That's obviously going to come down. 3.6 home runs per 9 is probably going to come down. But he has a 9 ERA, John. His expected ERA, 9.52. Like, it's not any better. It's actually worse.
Right.
It could get worse from here for Lance Lynn. So,
are we talking ourselves into a Minnesota stack again?
No. See, this is what happened with talking into Seattle, and look where
First of all, you
I
talked
broke
yourself
it,
into
you know?
Seattle. This is the first
True,
look. All right, so the first look here, we're just talking about theories.
Oh, the first look was Texas, and the end look was Texas, John. That was, anyways. We're on to Cincinnati. That's what Bill Belichick taught me.
Yeah.
We're on to Cincinnati. Yeah, I don't hate the idea of getting behind Minnesota. Now, I'm telling you, and I've tweeted it, and you could go back to my Twitter for the last 2 years. No one has sold my bread more than the Minnesota Twins for the last 2 years. Nobody. And their lineup also, because Kepler on the IL, Polanco on the IL, Correa hurt, shocker.
Yeah.
Joey Gallo hurt.
Hey,
I mean,
Gallo's
who
hitting a lot of
cares?
home runs.
No, he is hitting so great. I'm so happy for him. So many home runs. In Minnesota, shocker. Not in a big market, shocker. Their lineup was like Larnach led off today, Monday. I think I think Donovan Solano hit third. So we'll have to see what their lineup looks like.
So if their
before
lineup rolls out today and it's Larnach, Garlic, Willie Castro, Michael Taylor,
maybe we're actually on the other side of
Jose
maybe Lance Lynn
Miranda,
is
yeah.
actually
Are you in? Are you buying in on Lance Lynn maybe in a bounce back spot?
buying in on Lance Lynn. That's our slogan for Tuesday's live stream.
In on
Buying in
Lynn,
on Lance Lynn.
you can
In
rhyme
on
it
Lynn.
rhyme it
That's
however you want. Doesn't make it right, So
no. I mean, look, Buxton in any if he's in the lineup, he is in play because of the upside. I think the stolen base days are kind of seemingly, I don't know, like in limbo.
I don't think he runs anymore. I think his hamstrings are too shot.
So I think we're really relying on just that like double dong day that Byron
Sure.
Buxton can have. So him and Julio Rodriguez probably too low.
All right, let's finish out the 5K range here. I mentioned Lewis Robert is at 55, Chris Bryant 54, George Springer 53, JD Martinez is up to $5,200. Ian Happ did some damage tonight against Castillo. He's 51. Hunter Renfroe, we know a lot of power, better against lefties at 5K, and Teoscar, a guy better against lefties generally. He's at 5K as well.
I don't know about you, but coming into the year, I wasn't sure if JD Martinez was washed or not. And I know, you being the Red Sox fan, you saw him not hit for any power last year. Like none. Zero. Like not that he was. I
think losing has a lot to do with sometimes players' performances as well. So he's on a winning team. He hits in the middle of a good lineup. Teams have to pitch him differently because of who's in the lineup around him. And he is old. He's 35. He has a 905 OPS, but he only has one home run. So
8 extra base hits.
He has a triple somehow. Like
those, like you said, winning can change that double.
I gotta go find the highlight for that.
Where was it? Where was the triple? Triple was last game, Sunday in Arizona. That had to be like a collision in the outfield because Corbin Carroll is chasing.
Did they shift the left fielder over, the right fielder over, and then he just poked one down the line? Like what happened there?
Oh, that's brutal. They had to just forget. Corbin Carroll had to forget his glove in the dugout or something. But I don't hate 50. Like Alex Wood looked good in like the first couple innings, and then he did in his debut. I don't hate what JD Martinez is doing at the plate. Chris Bryant, again, to another guy, just no power. George Springer, sure, he's fine, but 5,300 on this slate. Matt Manning really limited righties last year. I was just looking at the numbers for Matt Manning because I was also interested in the fact that we hadn't talked about Blue Jays really. Righties last year against Manning, 590 OPS, 258 WOBA. Not a lot to like. Yeah, not a lot to like there. So the Blue Jays will be low owned and contrarian if you want to go there. Renfroe, 5K, power on power, right? All Renfroe's going to do is he's probably going to hit 30 home runs this year, and Josiah Gray's going to give up 40 home runs. So, seems like a good spot. Nobody in this 5K in this specific range is all that.
I agree with you. All right, let's go down into this middle range then here. Anybody stick out more than the other? Christian Yelich against Kelly at 49. We talked about Adolis Grand Slam tonight. He's $4,800. Blackman, lefty against Mikolas and Coors, $4,700 there. Tyler O'Neill was not in the lineup tonight. Maybe he's in the lineup here against Kyle Freeland. He's $4,300. Any thoughts on that?
I wonder if Tyler O'Neill didn't hustle to his locker on Monday. Did you hear that? That was why that's why he hasn't been playing, John, because he didn't run out a
ground ball.
There was like a play at the plate, and he hesitated for a second, and publicly the manager said he didn't hustle, so he didn't play. And Tyler O'Neill basically said in his that is something that did not need to be aired in the meeting. That could have been handled in-house. He was not happy.
Ever since Tyler O'Neill basically started taking steroids, he is hasn't been like he was 2 years
ago. This feels like another tier. Yelich, just as a GPP guy, very hard to get correct. Very hard to get Christian.
Yeah,
Yelich
you're not
but,
one-offing a
has the
Yelich
right.
anymore. He's part of your stack. So
No, yeah, he's just part of your Milwaukee stack. Adolis is somebody that you could play in tournaments for sure. Was terrible all night on Monday,
yeah.
and then hits a grand slam when they're up 7-1. So like that's Adolis Garcia in a nutshell. He's a 30-30 threat every year, despite like, oh, Adolis Garcia probably being drafted too high, and then ends the year 30-30 or 30-20, whatever. So another tournament play. No interest in Blackman, 4,700. Like I know it's cores, but I got another guy that's just like power has been
I did
sapped
not
from
know
him
Adolis
as
Garcia
age.
stole 25 bases last year.
Yeah, he has been like
Did not
it's
know.
another. Yeah, he is like legit like 30-30 potential.
31 homers, 16 stolen bases in his debut, and then last year 27 and 25. Good to know.
Yep. The problem is he just doesn't always get on
Well,
base.
that is a key
That's the
part of
issue.
doing your job there.
But no, I know, but there's just so much upside for like the Rangers have a bunch of those guys. Simeon, Adolis, like at the end of the year, they hit 240, but you look at it, it's like, oh, they almost went 30-30. Like, so another tier, like I just like Benintendi, 40. I'm gonna play like 20 different guys below Benintendi. He's 4,200. He's not gonna pay off a $4,200 price tag. Trent Grisham, lefty, no.
Manning was good against lefties last year too. Was Matt Manning good last year?
He was very good. Yeah. You know what? You know who I'm going to give flowers to? Our man, Justin Vreeland, who is Matt Manning's #1 fan, maybe his only fan. Other than Detroit
doesn't
Tiger
strike
fans,
anybody out.
like doesn't strike anyone out. But he's good. He's a good pitcher, and Justin Vreeland has been screaming that from the Twitter rooftops for like 3
here's this
years.
one little nugget on Matt Manning last year. If we're talking about splits, at home last year, 2.52 ERA. On the road, 4.94.
Toronto,
and they moved the fences in Toronto this year. So
yeah. I mean, look, I'm okay getting to Toronto. The problem is they are just so damn expensive. They are so expensive.
They always are, and they always go under roster. Nobody ever.
This is true. We talked about this a lot.
And when people do play Toronto, they don't play Matt Chapman. Those are the rules.
This is true. You know who else I think they're not going to play a lot of this year? Dalton Varsho, who I love.
Well, that's what made me look. I'm like, oh, Manning was good against righties. He must have sucked against lefties, and he didn't. But he was very bad on the road. So maybe Toronto on the road against Matt Manning is a
contrarian. That's our contrarian spend of the day. Like we wanted it to be Minnesota, but it's actually Toronto.
Tommy Pham's been leading off against lefties for the Mets, 3,700. Conforto hit a homer the other day. He's got 3 now on the year.
Dude, he's been hitting home runs. My man, dude, I love Michael Conforto. I'm happy to see him playing well. Just I wish it was not the spot that he was in, but he has been good. I like your Tommy Pham call.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Dylan Carlson we skipped Carlson. Sure. I will play him against lefties. He is good. He's typically so like Burleson hit second on Monday. I expect Carlson to hit second on Tuesday.
Outman hit a homer the other day against a lefty. I don't know if we're gonna
sure did.
I don't know if that makes him any more appealing to you or not, but
okay. No, I don't think so.
Okay. Some more values we work our way down then. Let's see here. Friedel gets returning. He's 35.
Yep. Any Arizona outfielder insert here. Jake McCarthy, 35. Dude, Corbin Carroll. If he just reaches base,
that's the problem right now, right?
He is going to steal 40 bases, 50 bases but there has been the steady increase in Corbin Carroll production at the plate. 3-game hit streak.
They sat him tonight, though. Maybe he'll get a pinch hit.
Gets out against the lefty. Gonna be back in against Corbin Burns. I'm just saying. I know 3,100, but like we're seeing the steady progression on
I like it. I think it's certainly in play here. Let's see here. What do we get? Hunter Renfroe just homered. Shocker. Let's see. Corbin Carroll we talked about. There's really not a lot out. I mean, Jesse Winker at 34 against Merrill Kelly. I don't mind that.
Yep, I think Winker has looked much better in a Brewers uniform than he did in a Seattle uniform. I think that's definitely safe to say. I wonder if the Reds' years
Well,
were
no, I don't think it was a
flawless.
fluke. I think that he was hitting in a great ballpark in Cincinnati, gets traded to Seattle, a very tough hitters ballpark, a very tough hitters division for ballparks. And then he
Division,
moves
yeah.
now. I wrote him up a couple of different times this year in the draft guide. I wrote the late round values, and I wrote up another. I was doing the outfield spotlight articles, and I targeted Jesse Winker a few times. I was a big fan of him. I grabbed him late in some drafts. The return to that NL Central division, it's a hitter's favorable park there in Milwaukee.
Right.
I thought there was a chance for a little bit of a bounce back there. So I don't mind. I don't mind Winker there. And then Trace Thompson, he's 2,900. Jordan
Isn't he a reverse splits guy?
Chase.
Trace Thompson, I think, is a reverse splits. I think he's
Well,
better
he hit the
against
grand slam
right-handed.
off Bumgarner during his 3 home run game.
Okay,
But
that's
does it
good to
matter
know.
when Jordan Walker's $2,900? Garrett Mitchell's
No, it
$2,900.
doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Right?
It doesn't.
We like both of those guys.
Yeah, I think those two. Oscar. I wasn't about to go for the trifecta with Oscar Colas, but he gets
I
a
mean,
pretty
Oscar
tough
Colas
matchup
is a
against
very
Pablo
talented
Lopez.
player, but it is not an easy spot.
He's good, dude.
That is
Yeah, he's good.
100% accurate there.
He is good.
Man, I like Garrett Mitchell there at 2,900.
So do I. So do
That's
I.
a good price tag for him.
You know who's good again on Monday? Bubba Thompson
Yep.
for the Rangers. I know. I know he's hitting like 8th, and it's not like the most ideal spot. But he is 1 for 4 RBI, run, double. I mean, 2,300. That's 9 fantasy points.
Yeah.
Again, at 2,300, like that's a
Does
W.
Sam Hilliard crack the Braves lineup? 2,200 lefty versus Hessa.
Good.
All right.
Yep. They have a weird thing. They're playing like a lot of Marcelo Zuna, and I'm not sure why. But if Hilliard is in the lineup, I definitely have some interest. He has some pop.
No, that's why I like him. I think there's some power there. Let's see. That's probably
Kelnick homered. He pinch hit
Kelnick did?
homered on Monday. Yeah, he pinch hit homered. The average is coming way up. The strikeouts surprisingly way down.
Cool.
He's been a little better. I mean, with the home run, that makes it a 5-game hitting streak. That's an RBI in 3 straight games. And again, we haven't talked about this
a rookie
game
swatch
too
card to
much.
face, so I hope he comes out of it and starts performing.
This game is one of the better implied run. So FanDuel released the line at 9.5, John. I don't know if there's weather, but usually when Wrigley starts teetering with 10 runs, we're talking about some weather in the forecast. So Chris Flexen and Wisniewski.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I was
around,
passively mentioning a few of these Seattle guys, but you're not wrong. It could be a game stack spot.
Just throwing that out.
It's totally fine to throw that out there. That's fine. All right, let's build a lineup. Actually, give me your home run call first. Again, those of you who are tuning in for the first time, we give our home run call, but we avoid Coors Field. We think that's a little bit cheating. So no Cardinals, no Rockies as part of our home run call for this evening. So what do we got here, James?
Did I go Seager on my home run call? I did, didn't I? Nailed it. I
went
think
Drury.
I went Seager
That has not
on
come
Mondays.
through quite yet.
Well, probably another at bat against Patrick.
I don't know.
Harden,
He's getting run right now. Urshela drove in an RBI. It's 4-1.
Oh no. My home run call. I'm probably just gonna go back to the text as well. Honestly, that feels very good. I might just go Seager. I might just string together a bunch of Seager home runs here. You son of a gun. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go Corey Seager back-to-back nights. Hits a home run. That's gonna be my homework call.
Alrighty. I'm gonna go the BVP play. Mookie Betts off Alex Wood. He just owns him. So we'll go Mookie light off the game tonight with a home run. He's gonna get the lefty and Alex Wood here for Wednesday. All right.
Well, we both went back-to-back guys who have homered on Monday.
Sure.
Who
Did not
also were
even
expecting to
initially
homer on
throw that
Tuesday.
together. Alrighty. Pitching. Let's build our lineup here. Are we going? We just plug into DeGrom? Feels like the spot, right?
Yeah. I mean, he had 10 strikeouts in 5 innings. Again, 2 different pitchers, but like we talked about the strikeout rate that
It's
KC
not
had
impossible for
prior
DeGrom to
to-
match Heaney tonight. 10 outs, 10 strikeouts. It's actually very, very
It's-
possible.
with like less with like 50 less pitches.
So if we plug DeGrom in, the next question is it a double spend Ohtani DeGrom, or is it Manoah Lopez with DeGrom?
It's probably the latter. But do you want to build? Where was like the spots?
We had value in the outfield. We liked Walker and Mitchell. Those are $2,900 a piece.
Yep.
So if we went Ohtani just for the sake of pricing with Mitchell and Walker, that would bring us to $4,100 a player.
I think we should go cheaper because we're gonna want like Mookie Betts and Corey.
So pitcher then we'll start with Manoah. If we need to go down to Lopez, we'll go down to Lopez.
Yep.
All right. So with Manoah and DeGrom, with Mitchell and Walker, it's $4,400.
I want Seager. And you
Seager
want Betts.
And
I mean,
Betts.
that's just. And we could. I was gonna say we could play Betts.
Yeah, Betts at second base. Yeah, $3,850. We're gonna spend down a catcher here. Jonah Heim, $3K. And was there I feel like we had a 2K catcher potentially. Oh, it was if Alvarez was in the lineup.
Yep. Which on the live stream when we're building 5 p.m. Eastern, we will know the Mets start 7:10. We'll have the lineup. So this lineup now could look similar, but it also could have Francisco Alvarez.
So we got $4,100 a player for a first base, third base, and an outfielder. What can we do for Texas? What can we get in our lineups here?
I mean, we could literally play Nate Lowe or Josh Jung.
We can play them both.
But here's what I was thinking. We also we're fading Coors right now.
No, we have Jordan Walker.
No, we're not.
Yeah,
we have Jordan Walker. So if we wanted another spend
we
down,
could move Betts to the outfield, move Edmund to leadoff.
True. I was thinking Montero at third, but we could also play Arenado.
I mean, Arenado at third is $3,600 a player still. We had another.
Who was our value?
Well, we can move Betts to outfield, and I'm sure we have a value second baseman we could throw in here. Ha-Seong Kim at $2,700. There's a
lefty. And we didn't. I don't know if we mentioned
Miguel Vargas. I passed by him. I didn't.
11 walks.
He's just crazy. If we move Kim to second base, Betts the outfielder, it's a $4,500 first baseman, which is Nathaniel Lowe. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is our lineup for this first look podcast. Jacob DeGrom, Alec Manoah, Jonah Heim, Nathaniel Lowe, Ha-Seong Kim, Nolan Arenado, Corey Seager, Garrett Mitchell, Jordan Walker, Mookie Betts. James and I will be back at 5 o'clock Eastern time to go through the day's slate, update you with the news and everything else that is going on. Like and subscribe to the podcast. If you could, give us a follow on Twitter. If you're not already a member of the family, join now. All pro package, 6 months off, 50%. Promo code MLB50. Get it in the description. We will be back later today. Good luck. We'll talk to you then.